Welcome to this gentle and loving session on grief. We will create the space to feel and process and give our grief the time and attention it needs to transform. Are you carrying a loss that feels too heavy to hold? Does it feel like everyone else has moved on, but you are still here in the middle of it? Does your chest feel tight, like there's a weight pressing down that never fully lifts? Maybe you're exhausted from pretending that you're okay, from putting on a brave face when all you want to do is fall apart. Maybe the world feels louder and harsher than it used to, and you just want someone to see how hard this is. I see you. I know this kind of pain. I see you carrying this grief day after day. I see the weight of it on your chest, on your shoulders. I see you waking up each morning, wondering how you're going to find the strength to face another day. I see how exhausting that is. And I want you to know, grief is one of the most natural human experiences. You are responding exactly as a heart should respond to loss. Grief can come from many places. The loss of a loved one, the loss of a pet, the end of a relationship, losing a job, the end of a chapter in your life. Whatever loss brought you here, it matters, and it deserves to be honored. This video is here to support you, to sit with you, and to help you tend to whatever grief is in your heart with gentleness and with care. You might return to this video many times. You might need different parts of it at different moments. That's completely okay. This is here for you whenever you need it. Before we begin, I want to give you permission for something. Permission to feel whatever comes up. Whether it's sadness or anger or numbness or confusion, all of it. You don't have to get through this by the end of the session. You don't have to feel better or lighter or healed. Grief takes the time that it takes. So just try being here with me and let yourself be held. So let's take a few moments to settle in, to allow your body to rest, and to give yourself permission to simply be here exactly as you are. Notice where your body is being supported. Feel the surface beneath you as it holds you. You don't have to do anything right now. You don't have to be strong or hold it all together. See if you can let your shoulders drop just a little and let your jaw unclench and let your body soften. In traditional Chinese medicine, they say grief is held in the lungs. So we will do some slow, gentle breathing throughout the session. Breathing won't take the grief away, but it can help you hold it with a little more gentleness and a little more room. So let's take a slow, deep breath in, feeling your chest and belly expand. And slowly release the breath and let any tension in your chest or lungs relax. Now take another slow, deep breath in to your chest and belly. And slowly release the breath and let any tension in your heart space begin to dissolve. One more time, take a slow, deep breath in and let yourself feel soft and open. And slowly release the breath and let your body relax and settle. You might have heard about the 5 stages of grief: denial and anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. It can help to know that these stages don't happen in any particular order, and they can overlap and they can repeat. You might feel all of them in a single day, or you might cycle through them over months. Grief is not a straight line. It's more like a spiral. It's like a landscape that you move through, sometimes forward and sometimes circling back. And that's okay. That's how grief works. We are going to work with grief by using the image of your heart as a garden, moving through the seasons. And of course, in reality, the seasons of grief don't follow a calendar. Some seasons might be very quick, while others are much longer. Some people might return to certain seasons over and over. Wherever you are in your seasons, you are exactly where you need to be. This is about trusting your heart and your internal timeline. So let's begin. Imagine your heart as a garden. See this garden in your mind's eye. Notice what's there. It's late summer in the garden of your heart. The season when things are still lush and still full. But there's a shift in the air, a quality of light that is different. The angle of the sun is changing. Look around this garden. What do you see? The flowers are still blooming. Herbs are growing. There might be vegetables ripening or berries still on the vine. But you can sense the change is coming. Some leaves are just beginning to show hints of color at the edges. Some flowers are starting to fade. The energy is different. It feels softer and slower. Something is beginning to let go. You might feel a little unsettled. You might feel a quiet dread about what's coming. You might wish that things could just stay as they are. All of these feelings belong in late summer. When change comes into our lives, sometimes it's so subtle and slow, and sometimes it happens all at once. When it happens slowly, it's like late summer. We might sense it shifting, and we know deep down that this season can't stay forever. Just notice what this late summer garden feels like. There's no need to change anything. Just witness it and observe how your heart feels. If you feel discomfort there, just breathe and let yourself relax. Take this process at your own pace, in your own time. Now sense the garden beginning to shift. Time is moving on, and the season is changing. Autumn is arriving in the garden of your heart. The flowers are fading now. The petals are drying and curling up. The vines that wind through the garden are beginning to shed their leaves. Some blossoms are still holding their color, but others are beginning to release, one by one, falling down to the soil. This is the season of letting go, not all at once, and not because you want to, but because that's what this season asks of you. You might feel resistance here, or deep sadness. All of these feelings belong in autumn. Watch as a petal releases from a flower. See it float down, turning gently in the air until it comes to rest on the ground. Each falling petal is something you're learning to release. Perhaps it's the future you thought you'd have. Perhaps it's a role that you used to play. Perhaps it's the sound of someone's voice, which is getting harder to remember clearly. You don't have to force any of this. Just witness the petals as they fall. Now imagine yourself walking through the autumn garden. Your feet are touching the soft earth. The air is cooler, and you're wearing something warm. As you walk, you notice there are seeds scattered on the ground. Seeds from the flowers that bloomed earlier. Seeds that hold the memory of what was. So you begin to gather the seeds together. You pick them up and gently hold them in your hands. These are your memories, the ones you want to keep, the stories you want to cherish, the moments that mattered most. You don't have to gather all of them, just the ones that feel most important right now. The ones you want to carry with you. Place these seeds in your pocket. They are yours. The garden is quieter now. The busy energy of summer is gone. There's a stillness here, a letting go that might feel sad or heavy, or just simply is. This is fall, the season of gathering what matters and of letting go what has passed, letting go of what was. So let's take a slow, deep breath in, feeling the cool autumn air fill your chest and belly. And slowly release the breath and let any sadness in your heart soften and ease. Now take another slow breath in, breathing in the stillness and quiet. And slowly release the breath and let go of what has passed and of how things used to be. One more time, take a slow, deep breath in and let your body just relax and be comforted. And slowly release the breath and invite your heart to open to the gentle changes of the autumn season. Autumn creates space for reflection, space to feel the loss, space to acknowledge what's changing and what has been lost. Notice how autumn feels in your body, in your heart. Do you feel heaviness or sadness? Maybe even relief or numbness? Whatever you feel is welcome here. You can stay in this autumn season as long as you like. There's no rush to move forward. The garden of your heart moves at its own pace. Now autumn begins to shift into winter, and the garden begins to change once more. The cold winds of winter begin to blow through the garden of your heart. The flowers are all gone now. The stems are bare. The vines have dropped all of their leaves. And the ground is covered, maybe with snow or with frost, or just with the brown remnants of what was once bright and thriving. Everything looks empty and barren, and silent. This is the season that many of us fear the most in grief, the season of emptiness, when the busyness of loss has passed, when others have moved on, when you feel left alone with what's missing and with what remains. The garden might feel cold and bleak. It might be hard to imagine the life and love that will grow here in the future. And here's the truth about winter. It is necessary, but it is not endless. Winter is a natural part of grief. In fact, grief itself is inevitable because we live in a universe where everything is always changing. Loss is woven into the fabric of life. But just as winter is inevitable, so is spring. Both are natural, and both will come. And you have the strength to be here, to sit with what's here, even when it's painful. You are more resilient than you know. And when you know that winter won't last forever, you can let yourself feel what's here. You can rest in the season, trusting that you will move through it in good time, and that you will find your way forward again. So for now, see if you can acknowledge the winter. Winter asks you to sit with the emptiness, to rest here without rushing toward spring. So let's tend this winter garden together, not to change it, not to force it to become spring, but to honor the winter in the garden of your heart. Imagine you are kneeling down in your garden. The ground is cold, and the earth is hard. Imagine yourself gently clearing away the dried stems and leaves that remain. You are also pulling away what does not serve the garden, the weeds of old regrets, of old resentments, of words left unsaid. They are not serving you or your loss. See if you can Just forgive yourself for anything that happened and see if you can forgive others the same way. Old regrets can sometimes be a way to distract ourselves from the reality of the loss. It's one of those ways that our minds use to try to fix the grief, to try to fix what we are feeling. But it never works. The grief will still be there, even after we've beaten ourselves up for doing something or not doing something. See if you can let the loss just be the loss. See if you can set these things aside and gently clear space in the garden for what truly matters. Let yourself sit quietly in your winter garden and just be with it. Your presence itself is tending to it. You are witnessing the winter. You are honoring the season. And if you feel moved to, you can imagine offering your tears to the frozen, dry soil of the garden. You can let them fall on the icy earth. Your tears can be nourishing for the garden. You are honoring the memory of what was, as well as what remains in your heart, even now. This is sacred work. This is how grief is tended, with tears and with care and with the willingness to feel the full weight of what has been lost. And even as you tend your garden, know that beneath the surface there are signs of life. The roots are holding, and seeds are waiting. And your heart is doing its own quiet work, composting old pain into wisdom, transforming loss into memory, and preparing the soil for what will want to grow. You don't have to make any of this happen. You don't have to force it. Your heart knows how to do this work. You may not feel it just yet, but it is happening. When the mystic poet Khalil Gibran talked about heartache, he said, The very wood that was hollowed out with knives becomes the lute that soothes the spirit. Winter is not about punishment. Winter is the season of deep transformation. Winter is not barren. Winter is resting. Winter is preparing. See if you can let yourself rest here without rushing away. Patience is part of this work. Patience with yourself and patience with the season. And that patience includes taking time for self-care, doing nice things for yourself, because you deserve to treat yourself when you're going through a long winter of grief. There is nothing wrong with a little healthy distraction along the way, as long as it doesn't become your only way of dealing with grief. Winter is the season of sitting with what is, without knowing when it will change. This is a familiar place for many of us in grief. In the winter that seems like it may never end. And here's what I want you to know. It's okay to be in winter. It's okay if it lasts for a long time. Winter is different for everyone. Your winter will be different from everyone else's. So let's finish tending to the garden by spreading a protective layer over the frozen soil, covering it gently, keeping the roots warm and safe beneath the surface. Now let's breathe and let all of this settle in our hearts. So take a slow, deep breath in and let yourself feel held and supported. Slowly release the breath and let yourself rest deeply without any pressure to fix or change anything. Now take another slow breath in, breathing in the stillness and quiet. And slowly release the breath and feel yourself tending to your heart with gentleness and care. One more time, take a slow, deep breath in and breathe in patience with yourself in this process. Slowly release the breath and trust that this season will unfold in its own time, at its own pace. Trust your heart. Trust its process. And trust its timing. Winter is not a failure or a problem to be solved. Winter is a season, and seasons change when they are ready. So stay here as long as you need to. Tend your winter garden with patience, with gentleness, and with trust that seasons change and spring will come again. Now I'm going to invite you to imagine spring. But before I do, I need you to hear this. If spring hasn't arrived yet for you, that is completely okay. If this next part feels too far away right now, see if you can simply witness it as a possibility for some day in the future. You don't have to be there just yet. Your timeline is your own, and spring cannot be forced. It arrives when it's ready. So let's imagine this. Slowly, slowly, the garden begins to shift. The light is changing. The sun is going higher in the sky. The air is warming, and warm breezes are beginning to flow through the garden, and the frozen ground is beginning to soften. Imagine that you are removing the protective layer from the soil so that the sun's heat can soak into the earth and reach deep down to the living roots. Now you begin to plant the seeds that you saved, and you water them with care. You plant the bulbs in small groups, trusting that when they are ready, their shoots will push up through the soil and begin to grow. Slowly and patiently, small green shoots begin to appear all over, tiny and fragile, but present. This is the beginning of spring, not the full bloom, not the rush of growth, just the first small signs that life is returning. You might not always recognize when spring first arrives. It doesn't always announce itself. Spring might be the day that you laugh at something and it doesn't feel wrong. Spring might be the moment that you think about your loss and it doesn't knock the wind out of you. Spring might be when you realize that you've gone an hour, a day, or more without the ache taking up all the space in your heart. It might be the moment when you take a deep breath and feel your chest expand without anything weighing it down. Spring can be subtle and it can be slow, and spring still honors everything that came before it. Spring doesn't erase winter. The memory of winter is still there. The vines and branches remember being empty. But now there are small leaves and buds forming. New growth doesn't replace what was lost. It grows alongside the loss. The garden is different now. It will never be the same garden it was before. But it is alive again. In this spring garden, you might notice new perspectives emerging, new ways of understanding your loss that you couldn't see in winter because the sorrow was too great. Now you might see how grief has changed you. Now you might see strength that you didn't know you had before. You might notice that you can hold both sorrow and joy at the same time. You can hold both the old memories and the new experiences within you. You are not over your grief. You never really will be. But you are learning to live with it, to let it be one part of you rather than the only part. You're giving it the space that it needs within you, while making space for life to continue. Spring is the season of readiness, ready to try new things, ready to reconnect to the world and the people around you, ready to imagine a future that includes your loss and all the potential of what could be. And remember, if you're not in spring yet, that's okay. Spring will come when it comes. Your garden moves at its own pace and its own time, and you can return to winter anytime you need to. Seasons cycle, and grief moves in spirals. You might have to visit winter a few more times before spring truly takes hold. It could be for a week or for the length of one special song. Trust your heart. Trust its process. And trust its timing. Take a deep breath in your garden, in whichever season you're in right now. This is your grief, your timeline, and your garden. Tend it with gentleness and honor your seasons. Let's take a few breaths here in your garden, in whichever season you find yourself in. So take a slow, deep breath in and breathe in the light and air of your garden. Slowly release the breath and feel yourself settling into the season just as it is. And take another slow breath in and breathe in trust. Trust in your garden's wisdom. Slowly release the breath and let yourself rest in this knowing. One more time. Take a slow, deep breath in and breathe in gentleness for yourself and for this journey. Slowly release the breath and honor wherever you are right now. Your garden is exactly as it should be. And now we will move through some affirmations to honor your grief and wherever you are in your journey. Affirmations can be challenging, especially when grief feels heavy. So if any of these feel hard to accept, that's okay. Just let them wash over you. Some might resonate now, and others might take some time. So trust yourself and what you feel you can receive right now. You can repeat these quietly to yourself, or simply listen and let them settle into your heart. So let's begin. Affirmations for the nature of grief. My grief doesn't follow a straight line. I can move forward and backward, and that's okay. Grief is a spiral, not a path with an endpoint. My grief will change shape over time. What feels unbearable today might soften tomorrow. My grief may feel different in different moments, and all of it is valid. Affirmations for your unique process. I allow myself to grieve in my own way, at my own pace. There is no right way to grieve, only my way. My grief needs what it needs, not what others think it should need. I trust my own grief process, even when others don't understand. I am not broken for feeling this way. My grief is valid and natural. Affirmations for living alongside grief. I can feel my grief and also take breaks from it. Healthy distraction is not denial, it's survival. I don't have to grieve every moment to honor my loss. I can grieve and still find moments of peace. I can miss what was and appreciate what remains. I can honor the past while living in the present. I release the guilt of surviving. I release the guilt of laughing and living and forgetting for a moment. My joy doesn't dishonor what I've lost. I can be both grieving and whole at the same time. Affirmations for grief's meaning. My grief is evidence of how deeply I loved. My grief reminds me I am capable of profound love. My grief is teaching me something about what mattered most. Through grief, I'm discovering depths of myself I didn't know existed. My grief connects me to everyone who has ever loved and lost. I am not just my grief, but grief is part of my story now. My grief doesn't define me, but it has changed me. I deserve gentleness and care as I move through this. Affirmations for grief and the body. My grief lives in my body as much as in my heart. I can be gentle with my body as it carries this grief. My body anchors me when grief feels too big. I allow my body to soften when it needs to. My body knows how to heal, even when my mind doesn't understand. Each breath I take is an act of care for my body. Very good. Now take a slow, deep breath in and let all of these affirmations settle into your heart and body. Slowly release the breath and allow yourself just to relax. Take another slow breath in, breathing in whatever resonates with you, whatever feels true right now. Slowly release the breath and let the rest gently fall away. One more time, take a slow, deep breath in and breathe in acceptance, acceptance of yourself, your grief, and your journey. And slowly release the breath and rest in this moment. You are exactly where you need to be right now. And you've done some wonderful work for yourself. Just let your body relax. Let your heart be open and gentle. Now we'll talk about a few things that can support you as you continue this journey through grief. These aren't rules, and there's no right way to do any of this. These are simply some things that many people have found helpful as they moved through their own seasons of grief. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't, and trust yourself and your heart. One of the most important things you can do is tend to your grief the way you would tend to a garden. Not to make it grow faster, and not to force the seasons to change, but to give it what it needs in each season. In autumn, that might mean letting go of small things, a routine that no longer fits, a plan that no longer makes sense. Releasing some small things at your own pace. And in winter, you might need to rest more and say no more often. You might need to protect your energy like you're protecting something precious, because you are. You might need more sleep, more quiet, more time alone. And that's not weakness. That is tending to your winter garden. And on that day, when spring begins to arrive, you might need to be gentle with the new growth, with the small moments of joy, with the new experiences, to just notice them and let them be. Each season asks something different of you. Trust that you'll know what your garden needs. Grief often brings stories with it. Stories we tell ourselves about what we should have done, what we could have done differently. Sometimes our minds use these stories as a way to avoid simply feeling the pain of the loss. It might sound strange, but it can be easier to punish ourselves or to feel regret rather than face the loss. But here's the truth. Those stories rarely help. They keep us stuck in a loop of regret and self-punishment instead of allowing us to simply feel the loss for what it is. So if you find yourself caught up in those types of stories, if you keep hearing yourself say, "What if?" or "if only," then see if you can notice them with gentleness. You don't have to believe every thought that your mind offers you. You can say things like, "I see the story, and I understand why my mind is telling me this. But the story isn't helping me right now." And then see if you can let it go. See if you can come back to the simple truth. Something precious was lost, and you are grieving that loss. That's enough. You don't need to fix anything or blame or worry about what happened or didn't happen. The loss is enough. One of the hardest parts of grief is learning how to live alongside it. Grief might be so strong, and you wish for relief one day. But then another day, when you catch yourself laughing, you might feel guilty. And later you might miss feeling the grief because it made you feel closer to who or what you lost. And you might even worry that moving forward means you're forgetting. But here's what has helped me. You can grieve and still live. Your grief doesn't have to take up all the space in your heart. Your heart is vast, and grief can be one part of your life rather than being the only part. You are allowed to take breaks from grief, to watch something funny, to spend time with friends, to do things that bring you comfort or joy. That's not dishonoring what you lost. That's living alongside grief. Your grief will still be there, but you don't have to sit in it every moment. Taking care of yourself by doing things that help you to feel a bit more normal is part of tending to your grief. The most important thing with grief is to be gentle with yourself. You are doing something incredibly hard. You are feeling things that can be painful and confusing and exhausting. And you are still here, still showing up, still tending to your heart. And that takes courage. You are here. You are calm. And you are present. And you are doing great. Just rest now. Just allow yourself to float. Your heart and mind are absorbing and processing everything you experienced in our session together. Just let it all settle into you and see if you can let your body relax just a bit more. Just breathe and be here with me. May your heart feel at peace. May you find moments of comfort in the days ahead. May you feel held and cared for. May you feel surrounded by love, seen and unseen. May you trust the seasons of your grief. May you discover strength that you didn't know you had. If this video resonated with you, then you might like this video, which is a sleep talk down for anxiety. It will help you calm your entire nervous system and take a journey on a magical swing that's designed to lull you into a deep and peaceful sleep. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tending to your grief with such courage and care. You are not alone in this. Be well and take good care.